to the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. This is week 9 of the 2023 season. I'm Nick, joined as always by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad, making it all go behind the scenes.
Hey.
And as we say, last but never, ever least, head coach Ashley Chastain.
Hey, guys.
All right. How's everybody feeling?
I'm great.
Doing good.
All right. You're good. You made it back from Kentucky, Coach.
Yes, we did.
What time did you get in yesterday?
I got home about midnight. We landed in Charlotte about 10:30, and it usually takes about an hour and a half, from baggage claim to the bus to campus and then back home.
Is that flying in and out of Nashville?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's better. So you had about an hour or so, hour and a half bus ride to Bowling Green, but
yeah, it was about an hour and 15 minutes. It wasn't bad at all, and it seemed to go by in 20 minutes. We're on the bus. It was really quick. Mm-hmm.
Way better than that 7-hour bus ride baseball team had back from Birmingham.
Yeah,
I think y'all won out on that deal. Okay, good deal. We got a lot of awesome Charlotte softball stuff to talk about this week. We wanted to go back to last week a little bit, though. We're going to sort of recap. We brought y'all this last week, and if you follow us on Twitter, which why aren't you if you're not? If you're not on Twitter, I respect that. But if you're on Twitter, you should be following us. As a part of Niner Nation Gives, which the university as a whole, this is part of an annual giving campaign every year. And I know the gift amount for this year was 49-hour campaign was over $3 million. So over $3 million was raised for the university in a 49-hour period. A part of that was there was a softball component to that this year. Actually, a couple of softball components we'll touch on. But the one we brought to you here, we wanted to provide you the results from. Jimmy Touchstone and Randy Peterson, both friends of the show, friends of the program, took it upon themselves to create a giving campaign for themselves between the two of them to benefit Charlotte softball. And the rules were simple. They asked all 23 girls, all 23 of the gals on the staff, on the roster, to cast a vote for who they thought was the bigger fan between the two of them. And if you saw these videos that they launched at each other, I think Kevin and I actually maybe made cameos in some of them. The videos back and forth at each other were hilarious. But when it came down to it, the real winner, Charlotte softball, of course, the vote tally was Randy 12 and Jimmy 11. So it went right down to the wire. But for now, Randy Peterson gets the claim to be a bigger Charlotte softball fan than Jimmy Touchstone. So, guys, there's your result from the Niner Nation Gives campaign.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun last week, seeing all of that on social media. And, I just can't thank everyone enough that gave, that was a part of that event. And it's not only huge for our program, but it's huge for really the entire athletic department and our university. So it was a big couple of days for us. I'm so grateful for everyone that gave. We've just got unbelievable support, and I got a lot of updates on gifts and giving, and I just was astounded every single time that we have so many people behind us. And it was awesome. And I really appreciate Jimmy and Randy and just everything they did to promote Niner Nations Gives, especially for our program specifically on Twitter and social media. It makes a big difference, and people really got into it. And I know the team was really excited about it. We actually had 100% participation for Niner Nation Gives for our team specifically, from our team, from the Niner Gals. And so, they're invested just as much in the program as anybody else. And I just, from top to bottom, I'm really excited to see the final results of that fundraiser. I haven't seen the final results yet. I'm sure I will soon. But we're really excited about the results of that, and really grateful.
And we also had you had Gene Johnson throwing out the first pitch on Tuesday. he and his wife had a couple of challenges for softball. They weren't quite as heated. As Jimmy and Randy's challenge, but
no, they wouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah, Gene and Vicky are awesome. Gene threw the first pitch out against our Greensboro game, and we gifted him a framed jersey with their name on it. And it's just a really special moment for us to be able to recognize them and all the support that they give us. I know they come to a lot of games and they're really invested in how we're doing. But, just to be financially invested and to give as much money as they did, and to challenge people to give, they did a matching gift, and, that's how it gets started, get the ball rolling and get people interested and challenge people to step up and give for, our program and, our young ladies that work so hard and, they want to play at a really high level. And it was special having Gene throw out their first pitch, and Vicky doesn't like to be in the spotlight. So when Gene came on the field, I asked him, I said, well, where's Vicky? Did she not make it today? And she was sitting right behind home watching him, I'm sure critiquing whether he threw a ball or a strike for the first pitch, but just really, truly grateful for them and everything they did to get the ball rolling, to challenge people to give, to our program. It was awesome. And it was the least we could do to recognize them, to throw out the first pitch Wednesday.
Producer Brad, I think you got a photo there. Randy basically took a photo to rub his victory in Jimmy's face. There we go.
Nice. That's awesome.
He was just taunting Jimmy. So that was a lot of fun. That was cool. Really cool to have those guys involved and everybody. It takes a village, and Niner Nation is a village these days. So people thought actually, people were thinking that like we came up with that or something. We had nothing to do with those guys doing that. They just, Jimmy called me one morning and said, hey, I got an idea. And, I said, okay, we're in. Tell me what the idea is. And then it ran from there. So that was Jimmy and Randy. Totally. They get all the credit on that. We just had, we are honored to have gotten to participate in it. So let's you brought up Tuesday with UNCG. Let's talk about let's kind of get into the meat of what we've got going on this week. Tight game. Both teams had their opportunities, and their opportunities worked out a little better than ours did. They get the 4-2 win. Cass picked up a ribby. So did Ariana. Rhodey picked up a ribby. We had scores and we had runners in scoring position. Easy for me to say in the 7th, down 2. But Coach, I think when you talk about that game, and interested to hear your thoughts on it. But you'll probably tell me who hit the balls. But there were 2 double plays of balls just absolutely smoked. That just found their way into an infielder's glove, and they both resulted in double plays. If one, or certainly both, but if one of those gets through, you're talking about a different set of circumstances in the ball game. But sometimes just kind of the luck of the draw plays into it, and UNCG got a couple of nice breaks, and it worked out for them.
Yeah. I was obviously really disappointed in the game, and it wasn't necessarily just because we lost. I mean, I've spoken many times about we expect to win every time we play, so there is a ton of disappointment when that doesn't go our way. I was just really frustrated and disappointed at our base running mistakes, and you just talked about the 2 specific double plays that we got doubled off at first twice. I think one of them was a little bit harder of a read than others. And, the thing about me and our program and the players, we have a ton of transparency in what we do. And so this is not new news for them. We've talked about this a lot within the last 7 days, just about making sure that we're running the base as well. We're getting good leads, getting good reads, and, making good decisions out there, because essentially that's going to really play into our run production. And, base running this time of year is hard to practice. we practice it a lot in the fall, and the most work you get on it is just in scrimmage, and that time of year where you can stop practice or stop a scrimmage and really break it down and talk about the decision that was made on the base path. Taylor Wyke and I were talking about it, and I'm like, God, we need to work on some base running situations. And it's hard. Like, we don't have a ton of practices right now. We're in the thick of season. And so, our base running practice literally comes from our competitions and the games that we're playing through the week. And I thought we made 2 bad reads. I think one of them was hit really hard and was a little bit tougher to read. I thought the first double play I thought it was hit hard. I thought it was going up the middle, and then all of a sudden the shortstop caught it and we got doubled off at first. And then, the second one I thought was a little bit of a bad read on our part. And we too, like I said, we do a ton of after action review post game. And, that was the biggest thing that we talked about post loss against Greensboro, was just how those 2 scenarios specifically really cost us in that game. So really disappointed in that one. And we left the Sioux on Wednesday, not in a great mood, to be very honest with you. I know anyone that was there probably knew it. Our players left a little sour. Our staff left a little sour. We were ready to get to Bowling Green quick so we could play again after the Greensboro game. But it's just how it goes. Sometimes we've got another matchup with them in a couple weeks. Offensively, we didn't do a ton against their pitching staff. I think we had 3 hits on the day. And, I think I'm double checking myself here. Yeah, we had 3 hits. We walked twice. So we left 5 on base. We just didn't do a ton. We didn't do a ton at the plate. Those 2 scenarios with the double play, getting doubled off at first, really killed our momentum. And we made the decision to start Sam against that midweek against Greensboro. And it's really hard and we had a plan to go to the bullpen, with a certain run lead, and, all of that was in place prior to the game starting. And it's really hard when you start your ace midweek Wednesday, your weekend ace, your weekend starter, with a Western Kentucky series on the horizon, then you don't get the win. So I went to sleep on Wednesday a little bit sour about that too. Just thinking.
I think they did the same thing, did they not?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both programs
tells you what both programs were viewing that as a key matchup.
Yeah, we have a lot of respect for them, and we talked going into the game with the team just about how these matchups against Greensboro are always really good. Like, for the past 4 years, they've been great games. We have a lot of respect for their staff and what they do, and they always can hit. They have, hitters all through the order, and so it didn't go our way. We get them again here at the beginning of May. I'm looking forward to that game to see how we respond. That'll be in Greensboro this time. So just didn't go our way. We had to move on really quickly, waking up Thursday and flying to Western Kentucky. So, kind of took the evening and the night to really flush it and, be better for it. And then flew to Nashville and made the hour and 15-minute drive up to Bowling Green Thursday.
Now, Kevin always talks about we pride ourselves on bringing you the stuff that's not in the box score. So, Kevin, I don't even know that you have this story, because I can't remember what we talk about and what we don't. So here from the UNCG game, here's what was in the box score. As a part of that Niner Nation Gives Challenge, we had sort of talked about on Twitter out in the open that Boo was going to cast her vote last, and she did. And I said, well, why don't you do it by video? And she says, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll make a video. I said, I tell you what, we'll do one better. We'll jump on live. I'll just pull up on Twitter. We'll go live on Twitter after the UNCG game, and you can cast the final vote, and then we'll have the results right there. And she goes, yeah, that's great. And so, to your point about after the game and the taste that was in everybody's mouth, I laid back, and Boo went on to the locker room. I certainly was not going over there to get involved in that. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing that. We're just gonna, and I talked to you, Coach. We spoke briefly after the game, but I was like, nah, we're not doing that. We'll leave that alone. So later, she Boo DM'd us on the account and was like, I am so sorry. I was in such a bad mood and I didn't want to. I said, boo, you don't need to apologize. We've been doing this long enough. We know.
Yeah.
we know, we get it. That's why I didn't even come over there. So to her credit, she was trying to apologize about not doing the final vote or whatever. I'm like, hey, I saw that one coming a mile away because y'all were, especially, a competitor. Like I know you're all competitors, but I don't want to talk to Boo after a loss. That's not.
No. Yeah, I mean, you're right. We're all competitors, and I think pregame we try to focus just on the game and the task at hand. But everyone kind of probably has a little bit of thought of like what they're going to do post game. For some of our kids, that's study hall hours or going to Sobe for dinner or seeing their parents or whatever after the game's over. And I think as competitors, when you lose, you always have those things in mind if you win. And I think if you lose, all that stuff goes out the door and you just forget everything that you were supposed to do post game because everyone's always, just so frustrated after we lose. So, but it doesn't surprise me that she came back and tried to make it right. That's just who she is.
No. That was, I was like, hey, whatever. It's no big deal. But dude, I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, no, you don't have to apologize. We've been around this a while. We kind of get it. So there's your not in the box score story.
There you go. That's what we're here for, right? Mm-hmm. So going into the weekend, huge series on the road at Western Kentucky. They were picked to finish second in the conference by the coaches in the preseason. We were picked to finish third. Ended up getting some weather to push the games back from Friday to a doubleheader on Saturday. Game one didn't go the Niners' way. It's kind of a pitcher's duel. Sam Grass, Lena Elkins, 0 earned runs allowed in the game. Just had one bad inning. Niners offense held to 1 hit. So the series didn't get off to a great start. I'd read in the post game that you kind of challenged the team after this game and kind of the series to foreshadow the series turn from there. And Nick, go ahead. You can go ahead with the game 2 on Saturday.
Yeah, so game 2 ended up being, I think, key for a couple of reasons, some of which you'll want to discuss and some of which you won't, Coach, but we're going to make you do it anyway. Game got off to a great start, the 5-run first inning. Ella Chansey tripled to right, drove in a couple. We got a Boo double, Lexi double. We got a triple from Lexi. Ariana Rhodey homered, Corey Hoffler homered. 6 different players had an RBI. But the story that I kind of want to get you talking about here on Saturday game 2 was the return of Gigi Barefoot. Gigi had been noticeably absent for a little while. You guys kind of had been looking for spots to work her in, but Gigi came back in a big way in game 2 on Saturday. And I think that's one of the 2 key stories to talk about here. But you go ahead and respond to that, and then we'll bring up the other big story.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, going back to thinking about the first game of the series, we got to Western Thursday afternoon and had a really great travel experience. That's always a little up in the air, how the travel is going to go. So Southwest nonstop into Nashville, got on a bus, went to Bowling Green. It was, 2:00 in the afternoon. The team got there and I know a lot of them did some homework and stuff for a few hours and then went to practice. Went to practice on Thursday evening. And here's the stuff you don't see in the box score. You don't really know unless you have an inside source. We weren't going to be able to practice on their field Thursday night because of the forecasted weather on Friday. They needed to tarp the field, which we completely understand. So I asked Amy Tudor, their head coach, like, hey, will you let us practice on the infield if we tarp the field ourselves after practice. We're tarp experts here in Charlotte, so we're constantly pulling our tarp. So she agreed, thankfully, and let us practice on Thursday night. And, I'm really thankful that she did, because their offense is really powered by the slap game. It was a really unique offense going into the matchup, into the series that we prepared for. They have a ton of lefties in the order. They have a ton of kids that are slappers, which have really great speed. They just try to touch the ball and get to first base. And so for that reason, their infield is really different than ours. Their infield is really hard. So we wanted to practice on infield Thursday night, and thankfully we got that work in. And so we felt really good about going into the series on Friday. And then of course the weather came. And so Friday we sat around, and when you get a team full of, young ladies, what they wanted to do on Friday was homework, when the next meal was, and then, hey, can we go to the mall? So, here we are, Friday, just hanging out in Bowling Green, Kentucky, waiting to play on Saturday. So I felt like we were there for 5 days before we even played the first game. It was kind of crazy. And then Saturday rolls around, and we get to the field for our 1 o'clock doubleheader at 11 o'clock, and we get there 2 hours prior. And I get a call from Amy, their head coach, as we're getting off the bus, basically. And she was like, hey, I need you to come out here. The wind was gusting at 40 miles an hour. And they had stuff flying all over the field, and nets flying, and capping of the fence flying everywhere. So we deemed it unsafe to be on the field. So we went back to the hotel and said, okay, we'll retry this at 4. We knew the wind was supposed to decrease as the day went along. So went back to the field at 4 and got started with that game. And we were disappointed just because they had one pitcher on staff. If you look at their staff ERAs and innings pitched, we knew that we were going to have to figure out Gardner, who was there too the last couple years, behind Nunn, who graduated. And so we'd had some experience with her, but we have a ton of kids in our order that didn't have any experience with her. So we just didn't figure out game one. We had a good plan. I didn't think we executed the plan really well. And it really came down to defense. We challenged the team going into the series with so many slappers in their order. Hey, we were top 2 in fielding percentage in conference, Western and us, going into the series. So both teams play great defense. And I challenged our defense. Whoever plays the best defense through the series is most likely going to win. And so we had one inning where I think in the box score, it says we have 2 errors, but we made 4 mistakes in that inning that cost us 3 runs. And that essentially decided the game. That's what it came down to. And, we have about 30 minutes in between games. Sam, I thought, threw really well game 1. And so I think the team was also really disappointed that she had such a great outing and we couldn't get it done. So we had 30 minutes. We went to the outfield, and I just challenged the heck out of them. I was like, this is not why we came to Western. And Western's a hard place to play. They have a really awesome fan base. They have awesome just atmosphere. It's a hard place to walk into and to win. And I think that is the case in a lot of sports. So I just challenged them. I thought Ash and Cass and Boo and Ella, I just thought that they struggled at the plate, and they set the tone for our entire offense. And so a couple of our captains really challenged the entire offense. And I gave the ball to Gigi for game 2. That was decided beforehand. Lena Elkins came in at the end of game 1 and threw a great inning for us. I loved her presence on the field. She got us 3 outs really quickly. So that was good. I was pleased with the pitching, and gave the ball to Gigi for game 2. And Nick, you're right. Gigi has been just working her butt off, working behind the scenes, just mentally and physically, to get back on the field. And we're a better team when she's on and when she's pitching for us. And so, just gave her the ball and, just said, hey, go win the game. And I thought she looked like she did opening night. So thinking back, a couple months ago to South Carolina, and she had that look in her eyes, she had the presence, the poise on the field. She executed really beautifully. And then I mean, we just exploded offensively. They had 30 minutes to go to the bus, change into a new uniform, because I didn't want to look at the all white CLT anymore. So I'm just kidding. It was planned ahead of time. We were changing win or lose. So we went to the bus. They changed uniforms, came back out, and like from the first pitch that was thrown in game 2, they were refusing to lose. You could feel it. You could see it. Like they were just on a mission. They scored early. And I felt like that gave Gigi a lot of confidence just to be really loose and relaxed and, have a really big presence on the field. So she was definitely the highlight of the game on the defensive side, just the way that she pitched. And, we talked to her just about like taking that and like really building on it here in the next couple of weeks, because like I said, like if she's throwing innings for us, then we're a better club. So really, really proud. We split day 1, and Saturday night was obviously really special for a lot of reasons.
Conference USA does not want to see an opening night Gigi barefoot. That's not in their best interest at all. I am totally on board with the uniform change, Kevin, because here at Diamond Niner Report, what is it we say? We're not superstitious, but we're what?
Just a little stitious, right?
Just a little stitious. So changing the uniform is a good idea. So, all right, that's a good segue you dropped for us there, Coach. Here's the thing you don't want to talk about. Go ahead, Producer Brad. Let's roll with it. Again, our good friend Jimmy Touchstone, the maker of he's our official crafter of faux baseball cards and now softball cards. Here is the limited edition commemorative piece commemorating your 100th head coaching win here at Charlotte. So congrats, Coach. That's a big milestone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I guess it was probably a week or so ago. Someone mentioned it to me, and I didn't really know that we were that close to it. I don't put a lot of thought into that. It's not something that we talk about or focus on. And so it was just really special. I wouldn't have had it any other way than to be at Western Kentucky. I think that's awesome. Beating our conference, foe on the road. That was really cool. I think back to the last 4 years, and, I told the team this in post game, because I quickly went to left field. That's where, we broke down because we were on the third base side at Western. So we went out to left field to do the post game, and I was quickly hoisted off the ground. And, they were just kind of like, I was crowd surfing around the circle there for a few seconds. And, but it's just really.
Is there video of that?
No, I doubt Walter got a video of that. But
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I just, the last 4 years have been the best years of my life. And just thinking about everything that's happened with the program. And I think I'm the least person to give the credit to, honestly, first and foremost, like Mike Hill and Chris Thomason, who hired me and have literally been, shoulder to shoulder with me, like they said they were going to be when they hired me. Those words that they said have really turned into actions. And so I feel their support all the time. And, that's where it starts. Like it starts at the top and it goes down. And, if Mike and Chris did not want this program to compete at a certain level or win championships, like it just would be a different vibe. It just would. And they care a lot about, our ladies and the program and how successful we are. And they're so invested in it. So that's where it has started. And I think back to every player that has worn the jersey since I've been here in the last 4 years. And that's been a lot of people. I mean, we've had dynamic rosters. We've had a lot of transfers for short periods of time. We've got now a core group of freshmen coming in every single year that will be with us their entire career. So it's just been really dynamic and really cool to see how the roster has evolved over the last 4 years. But, I think back to Spencer Gray and Carson Pace and, that generation of players that they were here when I got here and just welcomed me with open arms. And that's really where it started. And then we've got 4 on the team that have been with me for every win, for all 100, now 101, I guess, with the series win against Western. But Bailey Vanoy, Corey Hoffler, Anna Devereaux, and Maddie Wright, those 4 have been through it all with our staff, and that's really cool to think about. But even the people that didn't play for me, so like the alumni, I think about Andrea Howard, I think about Haley Pace, just so many of those players from their generation. Carrie Palma, who is our alumni liaison, those people have welcomed me with open arms and just embraced what we've been doing. And, how can I help? How can I be involved? And just been such a part of it behind the scenes. And then all the players that have worn the jersey on the field, going through our brand change, our whole new uniform look, and just everything that we've done from the start. It's just been really cool to see. I think I'm like eternally grateful to a Taylor Wyke and Jody Davidson. Those 2 have been with me for all 100, now 101. And they don't get enough credit for what they do. I mean, I try to stay out of their way. I think I've said that a couple of times, but they're so good and they're so dynamic, and they bring so much to the table, and the team just really rallies behind them. And they're in the trenches with the players. That's the job of an assistant coach, is, to get in the trenches with the players and figure it out. And, they're the best at what they do. And then you've got Eric McKibben, who I know is going to be on the baseball podcast here in a little bit. He's been integral with our development and training of every team that we've had so far. We would not have won so many games in the last 4 years without him. That's a direct line, what he does off the field with them to wins on the field. We really feel like we show up to places and we can beat anybody that's in the other dugout. Like, we are trained physically in a way that gives them so much confidence. And Eric is the brain trust behind that. The way that the girls respect him is just really cool for me to watch. And we've had some other people involved with the program over the last couple of years. There's just so many different fingerprints on the program, and I'm so thankful for everybody that's been involved. CJ Layton this year has been a huge add. All the athletic trainers that we've had, the SIDs, it's been really cool. We always have something new going on. There's always a new challenge. And, that's just kind of where we're at with the program, and trying to move it forward and win championships. And, now entering in the American in the 24th season, and, recruiting the region really well, and, bringing in players that we really feel like fit what we're doing and fit into our community. So it's been awesome. And the way that the team celebrated me on Saturday night was just, brought tears to my eyes. I mean, we had lots of cookie cake and balloons, and, the parents were so great. We have such a great parent community and fan base, and I'm so grateful for them. They travel everywhere, no matter where we're at. And they just are so excited about what's going on with the team. So everyone kind of gathered up in the hotel lobby, and then Taylor and Jody had a really awesome video made that had some previous players and some current players on the team. And it just was so special. It was really cool, to celebrate it. And it is important to celebrate those things. And it's not just celebrating, me, it was just celebrating everything that's happened. And so it was fun on Saturday night, going back to the lobby of the hotel and just spending, I think we were together like an hour and a half before curfew, and it was great. It was awesome. And I know I've said it, but I am really thankful for everything that has contributed to those 100.
Coach, you're so good at bringing up things that are you're very good at foreshadowing. For any of the Niner gals or extended family that want to see an interview with Coach McKibben, we are going to do that. We're doing that live on Monday night right after this. By the time you're seeing this, it'll probably be about Tuesday afternoon, probably while you're watching this, or Wednesday. But you can head over to the right here on the same YouTube channel. You can check out Coach McKibben. We're going to talk to him tonight on the baseball show. And So we may squeeze in a softball reference or two as well. But we did see pictures of that cookie cake, and I'm pro cookie cake. But
yes, I am too. It was awesome.
Yeah. But you guys didn't have, to your point, you didn't have much time to celebrate that because Kevin, they had a series to go win. Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about victory number 101. First place on the line, I believe. So, first inning, the offensive explosion continues. Ashley Washington homers right off the bat, get the Niners ahead. Then second inning, back-to-back homers, Buvinoy and Ella Chancelley put the Niners up 3. WKU bounces back with 3 runs of their own, and then the Niners are resilient. We got a double from Ella Chancelley, drives in a run, turns out to be the winning run. And Cass Kruppet, another homer for her, 2 ribbies to put the final score at 6-3. Sam Gress on the mound or in the circle, tied a career high with 10 Ks. 13th win of the season for the Sassy Pony. We were talking about pre-show. So, Coach, you guys win the series, huge series on the road. You guys are sitting in first place in Conference USA after the big victory. Had a lot of great quotes after the game. You're proud of you challenged the offense, and since that point where you challenged the offense, I don't think the Niners trailed the rest of the series. So, plenty of run support, plenty of great pitching, great series win, and congrats again on the 100th victory.
Thank you. Yeah. Sunday was awesome. I mean, Sam, like you said, she had another 10K game. So that was really cool to see. Lot to unpack in game 3. I think a couple of people just from this series that really sticks out to me. First and foremost, Ella Chancey. I've alluded to Western has a lot of slappers. They bunt a lot. They run a lot. They play a lot of small ball, and we really challenged ourselves to play great defense. And I have never seen Ella play defense like she played at third base this weekend. I mean, she played tight. She was playing halfway up the line. Most hitters, she was in their face. She didn't let them breathe in the box. I mean, it didn't matter where the bunt went. I mean, she was all over it every single time. And I'm proud of her at the plate too. I mean, she was someone that got a slow start to the year after just a fantastic freshman year. She was a little bit slow at the plate, and, we've just stuck by her and really encouraged her. And I think she's like really coming around right now. And, the double that she hit that ended up being the tying run, I believe. It was, no, not the tying run. What am I saying? Was it the tying run, Nick? You were talking about that. I'm looking at the box score.
Yeah,
it was. Go ahead.
It was the go ahead. Yeah, it was the go ahead. Taylor White and I were talking about Ella specifically after the game on Sunday as we were headed back to the airport, and that hit just was probably the biggest hit of the weekend. I think she hit a triple earlier. I mean, she just looked so great at the plate, and she looked even better on defense. And I'm just so proud of her for just having the courage to still be confident early in the year. And I think she's really on the up right now. And she's such a great player and great person for us. And so proud of her. Lexi Winters is another one. As if you really pay attention to the lineup through the series, Lexi, we moved up in the order. So she'd been in the 9-hole for us the last couple weeks. She's been catching a lot for us, and we moved her up into the top part of the order. And Taylor White made the comment after the series that she really felt like Lexi Winters grew up this series on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, she was just really rock solid, consistent behind the plate, led us in the circle. I think we didn't give up an earned run all series. If you go back and look at the box scores, and Lexi Winters and Bailey Vinoy, who catch our pitching staff, they play such a part of that. And Boo didn't catch for us this weekend, but Winners held it back there, and she attributed to their success. I thought Bailey looked like herself at the plate. She was 3 for 3 there that last game and had a couple really big hits for us. I thought Cass really, after she was challenged game 1, Cass really looked like herself at the plate game 2 and game 3. So yeah, it was awesome. And it came down to the wire there at the end. If you were following the game, Western ended up getting bases loaded, and the last at bat went 16 pitches. And so Sam was thrown against a righty in the middle of their order, and she was tight to the plate, and we kept throwing fastballs in, and she kept fouling them off. And it was a 16 pitch at bat to end the game. I thought the umpire squeezed this one pitch. I thought we had her pitch 8 or 9. We threw away. We threw a fastball away, and it was barely off the plate. And I thought he was going to ring her up, but he didn't. So that continued, 16 pitches to win the game. And if you go back and Walter Hernandez, who is our video guy, he traveled with us this weekend, and he's fantastic. He put out a video kind of concluding the whole series, and go and watch Sam Gress when she gets that final out of the series. Just her emotion on the field was awesome. And she gutted out that last at bat for 16 pitches. It was really cool, but just really proud of them. I mean, they got it done, and it was a big series for us. They knew it was a big series just with the standings, and I couldn't be more proud. Even after the way that we kind of just beat ourselves really in game 1, that's what we talked about. Like, we just beat ourselves for 1 inning defensively, and it just kind of sucked everything, all of our energy and everything out for that first game. And just the 30-minute turnaround to win game 2 and then to win the series game 3. It was incredible. It was incredible. I don't want to not mention, it was a really terrible moment, actually. Western Kentucky has a fantastic player. If you look at their stats, Taylor Sanders is a senior for them. She's a right-handed hitter. She plays third base. And they'd hit 15 home runs going into our series, and she had 9 of them. She had over 40 RBIs for them. She bats 3 or 4 for them. Our plan was to pitch around her all weekend. Like, she was the one hitter in the order that we did not want to beat us. And so we were not in a situation to where we really had to pitch to her much. We intentionally walked her several times. But there in game 3, she was tight to the plate, and we were throwing fastballs in, and, Sam Gress hit her in the hand and the wrist. And I don't know the prognosis of that, but it did not look good. And, she had to be taken off the field. And I texted their coach earlier today just to check on her. You just never want to see that happen ever. And especially to Taylor Sanders at Western Kentucky her senior year. So our thoughts and prayers are with her. I don't know what's really happened with her wrist, but she was in a lot of pain, and I know that was really hard for them as a program. So we're thinking about her and hoping for the best in her prognosis. I just haven't heard what has happened since she was taken off the field, but I did not want to not mention just how unfortunate of a moment that was, and how hard it was for Sam too. I mean, she mentioned something to Amy Tudor, their head coach, after the game, and just checking on her and how sorry she was. It's just a part of the game, not intentional on any part. It just happens, and unfortunately, it was just a really bad moment. So just thinking about her, but not to bring down the mood, but just wanted to mention that. And but really proud of the Niner Gals. It was a great series. And I think it's really going to set the tone for us the rest of the way. I think that's really what the girls drove back to the airport in Nashville with, was like, okay, like, this is it. Like, this is our year. Like, this is what we're doing. And this week we've got to get through Middle Tennessee, they've played really well, in conference so far. So I think it just kind of gave us a really big boost here over the next couple weeks.
Well, let's get moving in that direction. But before we go on from this weekend, and something Kevin brought up, and we told you we were going to ask you about, let's talk about this Sam Gress sassy pony thing. just a minute. I feel like there's we love a good story. So tell us where that comes from.
That's a great question. It just, the stuff that the Niner gals come up with in the dugout is pretty incredible. I mean, they come up with cheers and chants and names and just on the spot in the dugout for whatever the occasion, whatever is needed. Usually that charge is led by Ashley Washington, who's our leadoff hitter. So I've got two guesses of who came up with the Sassy Pony. It's either Ashley Washington or Anna Devereaux. Anna Devereaux is probably one of the funniest, most witty, sarcastic people I've ever been around. And so it just makes sense. And I've heard her say it a lot. So I'll have to get clarification from them on actually who came up with Sassy Pony, but that is definitely the nickname for Sam Gress. And it is in reference to her ponytail. Sam has shorter, curly, reddish blonde hair, and she wears it in a ponytail and a visor when she pitches. And they are referencing her ponytail, the Sassy Pony. So that's the story, and I'll have to get more info for you on that for our next conversation, or you can ask him when you see him this weekend exactly who came up with Sassy Pony.
Well, Kevin has already hashtagged that, and he's now set it as a goal for us. We're going to try to make that trend at some point. Hashtag Sassy Pony. My idea was, all this NIL stuff going around. I would totally rock a Sassy Pony T-shirt. I mean, without reservation, I would totally rock a Sassy Pony T-shirt. I mean,
I would too.
You could come up with a nice logo for that. That's a good name.
We could, yeah, that'd be really awesome.
I would totally rock that. So,
I wonder what Jimmy Touchdown's up to. I wonder if he could. I bet he could come up with a nice logo for that.
We'll put Jimmy to work on that. Yeah, he'll take that challenge on. Kevin, why don't we move on? We move towards next week or the week ahead. But you want to? We always do a Boo watch. You want to bring us up to speed on our Boo watch?
Okay, weekly Boo update.
Weekly Boo update.
She's now 3 doubles away from tying the all-time doubles lead of 58. So she got one closer this week. So getting closer and closer each time we talk. So pretty soon we'll be talking about that, and then we'll have to find another record for her to break.
If she doesn't break 2 or 3 more before she even gets to that one, I mean, who knows? They're just falling all the time. So, we'll have more on that. Booze just continues to rake. And I mean, and she homered again. It's kind of like on the baseball side, Coach, the teams have stopped pitching to Cam Fisher. They don't even throw in pitches anymore. And it's like, why would you pitch to Boo? Why would you even do that? And then teams do, and then she punishes them. And
well, it's a testament to some of the hitters we have around her. We really try to protect her, and that's the tough part about our lineup. And if you go to, I won't read them off, but I was digging into some conference only stats today, some CUSA stats. There are several, of our hitters through the lineup that I would want to intentionally walk in certain situations or pitch around. So it's kind of pick your poison with some of them. And, that's awesome that we can have that luxury, really. And Boo had been at the top of the order for us the first month of season. And then here lately, we've really liked her in the 5-hole because she comes up in RBI situations. We have people on base for her. So, that's been a little bit of an adjustment for me right in the lineup, that she's been in the 5 spot a little bit, and it's worked out well for us. But always proud of her. I mean, we keep talking about the best is yet to come. We haven't seen that yet from her. So, just cherishing every game we have, and every at bat is just also special. And she had a ton of really great emotion on the base pass this weekend at Western Kentucky. I mean, it was electric. She was just so hyped for the team and for the situation. So we haven't won the series against Western since we've been here. The COVID year, we went 2-2. That was the year we played 4 games. We went 2-2 with them. So I think specifically Boo was really on a mission to win the series against them. And she was one happy camper in the airport last night on the way back home.
We won't do the numbers, Coach, but let's just quickly, Kevin. I've got this. I'll do it as quickly as possible here. In conference, this is conference only, I believe, Coach, that we were talking about earlier in the day. Charlotte is first in the following categories. Okay, every category I say first in the conference. All right, batting average, runs scored, doubles, total bases, slugging percentage, hits, triples, total plate appearances, hit by pitch, ouch, at bats, home runs, RBIs, on base percentage. All those first in the league.
Yeah.
There's not many left. There's not many left.
The ones I left out are either second or third.
Yeah.
First in everything I read you, though. So anyway,
I've got to really give a shout out the hit by pitch category. We lead Conference USA with 19 in conference, and the next person up has 9. So that's a pretty big gap. We almost lead the country in hit by pitches. So going into the weekend, we were top 2. I would imagine that we're still 2 or 3 in hit by pitches nationally. So I'm just really proud of how selfless. I mean, that is a pure gut selfless category. It is really hard to stand in the box and get hit by a really fast moving object that's coming at you. And Taylor has trained our offense to do it really well. And we're really proud of that. I mean, honestly, like every single time that happens in our game, the dugout, you would think we hit the ball out. That's how hyped the dugout gets. And I love that and how selfless that is.
It's easy to be excited when you're not the one getting hit.
It is. Yes. Coming from, the head coach who was also a PO, pitcher only over here.
Yeah. You always hear way to wear it from the dugout. So that's good. So that helps leading the league in on base percentage. So,
yes, those go hand in hand for sure.
We got about 10 minutes here to wrap this up, Coach. Let's get into the week ahead. You guys, why don't you, starting tomorrow, you're headed down to Conway, take on Coastal Carolina. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on Coastal?
Yeah, we were looking at all their stuff last night on the way back, actually, and they've got great statistics offensively. They hit the ball out a lot. They've got high averages. So I think we're gonna have to pitch really well. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. I think it's gonna be how well we are in the circle tomorrow against Coastal. If you look at their schedule, we kind of picked apart their schedule. I think their strength of schedule is a lot different than ours. And so I think that should give our pitchers a lot of confidence with looking at their offensive statistics, that they've played a much different schedule than we have. You guys know we've been battle tested every single time we've played. I think it's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to how well we pitch. I would love to get several arms out on the field. It's a Tuesday game. Would love to get into the bullpen and give some people some opportunities, but that's going to be dictated on, just the game and, where we're at offensively and what the score is. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. They came to Charlotte last year. We beat them by 1 run, I believe. Traditionally they have a good club and they have great facilities in Conway. We're looking forward to the trip to almost the beach. Conway's a little bit before you get to Myrtle Beach, but about a 3-hour drive for us. Yeah.
Not to hear them tell it.
Yeah.
They say they're at the beach or not. They are 28-9 and coming off a weekend sweep of Georgia Southern. So it's going to be a great test. Kevin, why don't you bring us to the weekend?
The weekend schedule this week moved up for Easter, starting Thursday at the Sioux, going through Saturday. Niners are hosting Middle Tennessee. They are 24-10 overall, 5-4 in Conference USA. Recently this weekend, they lost the series to FAU at home. Coach, talk a little bit about Middle Tennessee and what we can see this weekend at the Sioux.
Yeah. They've played well in conference. I think they are third or fourth in conference right now. I think they're better than they were last year. It was funny because we actually last night in Nashville ran into FAU, who was at Middle Tennessee this weekend and won the series. They beat them 3-2 yesterday in extra innings to win the series. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're a better club this year than they were last year. So, we won't take them lightly. They've got a really good shortstop on both sides of the ball. She's really good defensively and really good at the plate. That will probably be the hitter that, really is key in certain situations for us of not letting her do damage and, pitching around her. But they return a couple arms from last year. So we've got some data and some experience and some film on several of the pitchers that they are returning. So it'll be a good one. The weather is a little dicey looking already, just to be honest with you. But as you guys know, here in Charlotte, we don't really make decisions on game times and moving them around until about 24 or less hours away from the original game time because everything changes quite often. So, but it'll be a good one. I think they are better than they were last year.
And so that is, as Kevin points out, Thursday through Saturdays, 6 o'clock on both Thursday and Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday, which means tailgate lots on Saturday will open at 9 a.m.
We got some promos, Nick. Got some promos this week.
Kevin. Let's hear that.
Friday, Bark in the Park, free food Friday. Dog bandanas giveaway with free food for students. So bring your dogs out to the park on Saturday. And it's also on Friday. I'm sorry. Saturday, Bunnies in the Ballpark, alumni reunion, signature Saturday, post-game autographs, post-game Easter egg hunt, and Easter basket giveaway contest. So lots of fun stuff going on this weekend at the Sioux.
What does Bunnies in the Ballpark mean?
It's Easter, man. It's an Easter post-game Easter egg hunt.
That Bunnies in the Ballpark is like the name for the whole promotion. Is that? We're not going to turn bunnies loose on the field or anything like that.
No.
Just the Easter egg hunt. Just the Easter egg hunt. Maybe the Easter bunny will be there on the field. Maybe.
Why not? Yeah. So all those game times, by the way, it's double barrel action on Phillips Road all weekend. All those game times, baseball is hosting now nationally ranked in first place UTSA right across the street. So it's double barrel action along Phillips all weekend long. So no reason not to be. If you're traveling for family or something like that, fine. Other than that, if you're in the region, you need to be on Phillips Road somewhere this weekend because that's where everything's happening. And maybe I don't know. We'll do an Easter egg hunt, Kevin. It's been a while since I participated in one of those, but if they're going to throw one, maybe we'll do it.
Yeah, and
now's the time.
Can bring Bilo out on Friday.
Yeah, we kind of retired Bilo. That's our dog from ballparks.
Just keep her away from Coach Bick.
Yeah, that's another story. Ashley, I will tell you that one off the air sometimes. My dog kind of bit Coach Bick, but
oh no.
Yeah, we'll get into that later another time. But he did get one of those dog bandanas though, so and they're really slick. So if you have a dog, you want to make sure you get one of those. Those dog bandanas are really cool. Actually, shout out to the Tisdales for grabbing us one. So I think that's how that went down. So, all right. I think we've got the table set, Coach. It's time to get a week of Niner Gal softball underway. Good luck in Conway, and we'll see you when you get back for a weekend of softball at the Sioux. That's all the time we've got for this week, folks. We appreciate all of you for tuning in to the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to be notified of fresh content like this fine podcast. You can also find the Diamond Niner Gals podcast on Spotify, Diamond Niner Report. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, but never TikTok. We love hearing from you guys. Feel free to reach out. Or if you're old-fashioned like we are, just say hello at the ballpark because we're there all the time. For Kevin, producer Brad, Coach Chastain, this is Nick saying we'll see you at the Sioux.
See you at the Sioux.